Hi everybody, welcome to Magic Carpet Life, your weekly wonder trip into the infinite discovery of who you are. I'm your host and guide, Tiffany Josephs, and I am here to enchant the world to a higher love. Why are you here? Have you thought about it? Have you put it into words? Have you shouted it from the rooftops? Well, I really believe that this is your time. The world has never been more ready to receive your unique magic. And you can think of me as your cosmic cheerleader on your path to discovering just how true that is. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining us, and let's get started. That was like my, oh my gosh, sigh. Guys, I have with me on the big blue couch a beautiful, beautiful soul. And it's very long overdue that you've been in my house, yet alone, rapping with me about your world and your life and your beauty. And it's my honor to have you here to just play with me.
I'm honored to be here.
Brit.
Thank you.
Your name is Brit. Mm-hmm. Stueven. I'm going to say it in German now.
Yeah.
Stueven.
Yeah.
But your maiden name was?
Horvat.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we just had this whole discussion about how we make our names sound like we want them to for what we're doing, to illuminate our gifts, to work with what we do. I don't have a bio for you because I decided to give up on bios in these conversations. What are bios?
Good. Yeah.
Bios, they barely contain all the magic we have to give. And if I ruled the world, I would do away with them, and I would just have us show up into spaces and just say, all right, guys, let's just tune into this.
Right?
Tune into this smile, feel this light coming from this person, and we would all just enjoy, and we'd never, ever have to ask that question, what do you do?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That'd be amazing. I want to live in that world.
Well, that's actually my question for you. This is the one question that I have pre-thought about last night. I did a star walk with my daughter, who's 9.
Oh, I
this
love
is
that.
like our thing.
Yeah.
Is I downloaded the Skyview app. If those of you that
I love
know
it.
Skyview,
It's
yes,
so amazing.
I take it on and off my phone
Yeah.
because like sometimes I need the memory.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
huge. It takes up huge amount.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, sometimes it's like when it's nice outside and I know I'm going to be doing more walks, I got the Skyview app on there. Anyways, we went for a walk and I was just kind of talking. I said, Evie, I'm having this beautiful woman, this amazing soul on my show tomorrow. What do you think we should talk about? What are some really good questions? And she was like, and I asked one and she was like, nah, no, not that one, Mom. Yeah. And then she started talking about how she was talking about the size of the universe and how the observable universe is just a teeny tiny fragment of the ultimate multi-universe. And she's going on and on in her fourth grade brain about the enormity of how things really are. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, wow, this is fabulous. And then it occurred to me, this is the question that I'm going to ask Brit tomorrow. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I can word the question as I had it last night as we were looking at Venus and Uranus and all of this. So let's say that before you came here as you, as human version of all that you are, you were somewhere else. And let's say that you were like the SNL skit, the Goddesses of Creation. Have you seen this skit? Oh my God, it's the best.
No.
Any of you listening or watching know the skit is hilarious. There's like 3 goddesses and they're talking to the god or whatever up in Zeus land or the heavens.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, so I have this idea, and it's Kristen Wiig, and she's like talking about these funny things that she's making. Okay, so you're like in that space. You're in the space where things get created.
Okay.
You get to speak it, and it's created.
Okay.
Let's say that they tell you, you're gonna make your own planet. We're gonna call it Planet Brit. And you're like, okay. And they're like, there's no rules. You do whatever you want. Just make sure, it's like within the 3-dimensional realm of being able to, like, you can't make a square planet because, that's not going to work in physics. It's got to be a planet.
Yeah.
What do you create inside of this planet?
Oh. Well, okay, first of all, I think it would be kind of like a Lisa Frank background, like the sky, right? Right? Like you can see the planets way up close. You don't even have to like wonder what's
Wait,
out
we might
there.
have like some people under.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Just Google Lisa
That's so
Frank.
true.
If you are
Yeah,
like, because I've
that's
asked
true.
some 20-year-olds, I'm like, oh my God, it's like Lisa Frank.
Yeah.
And they're like,
What's
Lisa
that?
Frank. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe a world without Lisa
Oh,
Frank. So
I
Google Lisa
know.
Frank. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah, and it's there was this woman. She was running the checkout at Whole Foods the other day, and her hair was like striped purple and blue, and she had straight up Lisa Frank tattoos and was wearing like a multicolored shirt. And so there'd be people like that, and there'd be a lot of pajamas. That's the only thing that's created. That's the only form of clothing that is made. It's just comfortable pajamas.
Yes, with footies or without footies.
Without. Yeah.
Okay.
Without. Yeah, because I've recently really loved going barefoot. I played golf barefoot like a couple weeks ago, and it was
Yes.
amazing.
too.
It would rain glitter, but it would be earth friendly glitter. It
I was
wouldn't
just
be
gonna
plastic.
say,
Yeah.
I love glitter,
Yeah.
and then all of my
Yeah.
friends started telling me how horrible.
I know,
and I was like,
I
I'm
know.
so sorry. I'm sorry,
I know.
Earth. I'm sorry,
I had no idea.
environment.
I had no idea.
So it would like
Yeah.
dissolve upon falling.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. This is so fun. I could do this all day. So
It's like creating a
some of it.
video game.
Yeah.
It's like people that
Yeah.
create these worlds within virtual reality or video. I'm like, you get to do that for your job.
Yeah. I
Okay,
know.
so what that tells me about you is it tells me a little bit about your age because you know Lisa
Right.
Frank.
Yeah.
You probably had a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper. Yes. Did you have a caboodle?
Oh yeah, and they're back.
The caboodles are
They're
back.
back.
They're a little more they're a little more user friendly though.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're like more intuitive in how they open. I mean, ours were kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But maybe that was the good. Maybe the old. I always think the vintage. Like I always want the original.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whenever I see one, I'm like, why is this? Why did they have to reinvent? There's nothing to reinvent here. So okay, so you are on this planet, and you have this magic around you, and what is the sort of general superpower of the inhabitants of Planet Brit?
They don't know. They don't even know what perfection is. That doesn't even exist on this planet. And but their superpower is to just totally know who they are and totally be themselves and not be afraid. There's no fear at all.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially in their pajamas.
Yeah.
No fear of what people
Especially.
think.
Yeah. 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 So,
I love that you said that word perfection because you sent an email out a couple of weeks ago. And this email was really, really transparent and
Yeah.
powerful. Like I imagine you taking a lot of time with it and communicating your full heart within the email. And I had a chance, before you came over this morning to reread it and tune into your hearts, your desires, your journey through this email, because it really was sort of like an essay and a book within itself. It was like a book that's about to be written. And every single one of your points were the chapters within those, the discoveries you've made
Right.
in the past several years. And the word that I felt was, here's a woman who is like insanely talented. Here's a woman, when I first met you, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, you
think
were
it
running
was-
around town.
It was 5 years, yeah.
You were like the go-to hire for creating amazing experiences. And I remember watching you and thinking, this woman is just spreading out her gifts like a feast at a table, like sharing all of this with people. And then what I got from your email was, what is the shadow side of being so freaking gifted? Well, running ourselves ragged, being hard on ourselves, believing too much into the illusion of perfection,
Right.
as if such a thing exists, which actually it does exist, just not in the way that we go about it.
Right. Yeah. If there's heart surgery, you know, we want perfection to be there. Yeah.
Or even just in nature, and
Right.
the perfection of these leaves changing.
Oh, of
and
course. Yeah.
the perfection of the entire universe as it is and functions. But the hard on ourselfedness,
Right.
the perfection that we think perfection means we can't be flawed and we can't say the wrong thing and we can't forget things and we can't drop the ball, and when it has to do with our performance. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, and I love that in Planet Brit there is pajamas and no sense of perfectionism.
There you go. Yeah.
There's
I like
the
that.
sense of perfection in the way things work, especially with Lisa Frank colors everywhere.
Yeah.
But that hard on ourselfedness. So when, let's see, your journey, like all of ours, is rich and thick and full and sacred and stunningly beautiful. Where should we enter in? How should we enter in to have you tell it in a way that others who are listening would go, yes, that's me too, I get that. Let's start from right now in this moment. You're sitting on my couch. It's mid to late September. I don't even know. It's some kind of teen number in September. And you're here. You're on the other side of that email.
Yeah.
You're on the other side of this breakthrough, soul seismic level discovery. What is the most surprising thing that you have learned about Brit and Planet Brit on planet Earth? What have you learned inside that you're ready to see come to fruition in your outer world?
The most surprising thing, there's been a lot of them, but the first thing that popped into my mind when you asked me that was, I guess it's this realization that I'm finally embracing that I am a bumblebee. I am totally
The bee.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I remember. That's a part of
Yeah.
your brand.
Yeah. Wasn't that funny?
It
Yeah.
was a part of your brand. Okay, for those of you listening, I'm not even going to go into your business because I just want to illuminate your soul right now and for people to feel this. So, but we will get back to that.
Yeah.
So you're a little bumblebee,
Yeah.
which means what?
Well, these days it means that I am just so interested in so many different things. And for the longest time I was giving myself a hard time for being interested in different things and being multi-passionate and doing something for a little bit and then moving on to something else, or, you know, in the middle of my marketing business working with a lot of different clients, and then, you know, starting this whole accidental chapter in my business that's around helping people with their lifestyle and their self-care and their play, and then still not knowing how to define that when I go to networking events and and people ask, what do I do? And finally I just realized that that's who I am, and that's totally fine, and I don't have to apologize to anyone. I don't have to wrap it all up in a package. I just get to be me, and it's so freeing. And lately, just in this past week, I've just been realizing that I'm going to get all emotional.
Perfectly welcome here.
Just that everything is so, it's so much better than I've ever given it credit for, right? Like,
Yes.
everything's so much more fun than I let myself see it. And as soon as I've made that shift to see things differently like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to go do these things. And a lot of times I give myself a hard time for, like when I started these videos called pajama chats, where I'd sit in my pajamas and talk with someone. I was so excited at first, and then I started getting down on myself because I was locking myself in, and I was getting nervous about something that I created and then creative freedom is all I crave, but then I get scared of it, and then I'm like, wait, you have all the freedom you want, but you're holding yourself back.
Yes, that's
So-
interesting. We all, especially with creations that
Yeah.
come from us.
Right.
When you unleash them, when you sort of unwrap who you are in a form of something,
Yeah.
and then you want to change your mind,
Yeah.
giving yourself the grace to say, and I did that. In other
Right.
words, those things don't define us.
Right.
And it's easy to, in any creation, like with this podcast or with my coaching business or with the other work that I do around the country, this town of Denver that we live in, it's so easy for us to get wrapped up and to say it has to be this way or
Yeah.
it has to look like this.
Right.
When really we're just balls of light, gaseous light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just sort of
Literally.
souls in form, these remarkable beings of light
Yeah.
in this skin, just here to not figure it out.
Right.
What if we weren't here to figure things out?
I know.
How
that
about
would be so
that?
freeing.
What
right?
if we were here to go from, I was going to say lily pad to lily pad, but then I thought lotus. Because of all the reasons that people love the lotus and the symbology of the lotus. What if we were just here to just and just hang out for a while on one and then move to the next? We have the freedom to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's not just do we have the freedom to do that, but it's our joy, we're here for discovery.
Right.
And however that discovery unfolds is absolutely amazing. Yes, so the release that comes from this allowance that what if we're just here to discover, and what if all the things that we come into our sight are just here to make us shine brighter. In other words, we don't have to do anything with these things. What if there were no such thing as, like, even I've been thinking about this lately, I've been in some deep discovery and some deep realizations of things, and it's easy for me as I talk to people about it to say, these lessons.
Right.
There's so many lessons in
Yeah.
this. And I'm immediately, when I say that, I put
Right.
myself in the classroom with like a number 2 pencil. And remember those old days before we had computers and we used to have to write out our tests?
Yeah.
Like English. We used to have to write out our essays with a pencil. It's like I'm there writing. And I am so looking forward to right now, with so many other my creative friends, to have way more fun with it.
Yeah.
To not have to make everything a lesson and a deep processing, but
Right.
just to really perpetuate the fact that it could be this immediate shift.
Yeah.
What if it could be this immediate shift? And part of that for me is really just changing the conversation. Whenever I was sharing with you, you were here, and I was sharing about something that I'd gone through in the past couple months. And it's like, and even when Steven, my camera guy, hi Steven, when he came in the house and he said, hey, have you rested yet from this thing that I just done this weekend? And I felt myself wanting to keep the story going about it and say,
Right.
I'm not rested yet, and
Right.
no, it's going to take a while, and
Yeah.
this was a big lesson. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? What if I just put on some music and danced it out, like really, and things could shift? And I believed in the power of
Yeah.
immediate shift.
Yeah. What if you could just change your mind? Maybe just make a choice that you're going to see something differently.
Yes.
And I love turning on music. Like that is one of the best ways to shift anything, especially when you're tired, especially in the morning. Like sometimes I'll just walk down and I'll be like, okay, Alexa, play Whitney Houston.
Is
and
it
then
Whitney?
it just completely
Whitney in the morning?
Lately. It's been Whitney
What is it about
Houston.
Whitney?
I don't know, but there's just something about the
I want to dance with somebody.
that's the song. Yep.
Uh-huh.
There's just something about that one.
I see that going really well
Yeah.
with coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's amazing what certain small things can do to make a huge shift in your day, in your mindset, in
We are meant, our natural essence is to feel good. Our natural essence is to vibrate this light that we all have. And then So let me ask some questions here because I want people to get to know a little bit more about your unique essence, your unique song. You've come out of a heavy time, and you're still finding, your Whitney. You're finding your inner Whitney, and you're like, okay, and things are getting cooking, and you're really launching back into the whole new. You're seeing your business with new eyes. You're seeing. You guys recently bought a house. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So you're back here in Denver. Tell them about your journey the last 2 years. You left Denver. You came back. So what? Tell some exciting
Okay.
tidbits of what that was about for you.
It's actually been 4 years.
Really?
Isn't that insane?
I think
Isn't
I was
that
like
nuts?
Sleepy Beauty and slept for 2
Right?
years.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. We've almost been back for 2 years. In November, it'll be 2 years. So,
Wow.
yeah. So I was born and raised here, and the longest I ever left was to go live in New York for a couple months for an internship at Bust Magazine back in the day.
Ooh, okay.
And-
Journalism.
Yeah,
You were a journalist,
That was my winging it of journalism, though. I didn't realize until like the very end of college that I probably should have gone into that after changing my major 4 times.
Yes. Because you're allowed to do that.
Because you're allowed.
You're
yes.
allowed to.
Yeah.
And you as a
Yeah.
woman with all of these gifts,
Right.
you just had to bop around on those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, so started a marketing business in 2013. That happened on accident as a result of following my gut feeling as I was working as a project manager in a cubicle, and called the Perfect Petal one day and was like, "Are you guys hiring? Because I just need to be around color and people." And
What is this
I didn't
place?
say that, but the Perfect Petal in the Highlands.
The Perfect Petal. Are they still in business?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so everybody listening in town, what is
Yeah.
the Perfect Petal?
They've been around for over 20 years now. They have this adorable boutique with stuff for your home, which you would love, and not that you even need it. They have
I
a
always need it.
Yeah.
There's never ending happening in this house.
that's true. They also have they have a floral department where they do daily florals for local businesses, but then they also do weddings and events, and they did my wedding flowers, and I just loved being in there, and I loved creating something from the ground up, like planning my own wedding and working with local vendors and people who were doing things that they were really passionate about, and just creative people.
Yes, and that they have been in business for so long too.
Yeah,
So there was a real stability
yeah,
there.
yeah. So my business basically formed after working with them. They were my first client, and then they referred me to a few other people that they worked with because I wanted to cross-pollinate. That's where the B initially came from, to get people to collaborate and connect and partner up. And so I started that, in 2013, and then my husband, it was funny, in 2012, he was like, what do you think about me doing a global deployment program through Deloitte, where he works? I was like, yeah, go for it. But he wasn't eligible at that time. He needed a few more years. And so we're like, oh, that 2 years, that's so long that, okay, never mind. That's never going to happen. But then 2 years later, we're still in the same apartment. We're still, having this hunger to go somewhere. And he's eligible again. So he puts his name in the hat and was open to as many locations as possible. He's like, is there anywhere that you don't want to live on this planet?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
What do we not want?
Yeah. I was like, as much as I loved going to China for 2 weeks, that was a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
With you, I don't want to live there, but I'll live anywhere else. I think that's what I told him. So he ended up getting this 2-year assignment in Dusseldorf, Germany. And so we went out there.
Not Dumbledore.
No, but doesn't it
I
sound
totally
like
thought
it?
Harry Potter when
Yeah.
you said that.
Oh yeah. I had never even heard of it, and I had never when we signed the contract, I still had not even been to this city. I just trusted that this was where we needed to go.
Yeah.
There was such an ease to it. Even though I was panicking about my business and my identity and everything that I had built here, and fearing losing relationships, and
Which you had really built here. You
Yeah.
had created a magnificent hive for yourself, your community, your personal connections, your business connections. You really were the go-to hire. I remember when meeting you.
That's
and you
so
were just
funny.
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm going to fly away and I'm going to buzz
Yeah.
away now.
Yeah, and it
Leave
was
it up
tough.
to others.
It was hard. It was hard to leave. There was a lot there, but I also just trusted that it was gonna work out, right? So we get there. I initially thought I was gonna take my marketing global. I thought I was gonna work with people in London because I needed to work with people who spoke English because
Yes.
I knew like no German.
Priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get there, and there was a completely different vibe. I just wanted to immerse myself there. There was a sudden sense of urgency, knowing that we only had 2 years. I was like, knowing myself, if I don't pause my business, I will be on my laptop for 2 years, and I will not experience this place. So I told everyone, okay, pressing pause, then just immersed myself in Germany and did all these new things I had never done before. Like I taught English for a while. I did take German classes. I did meet amazing women from all over the world, and I went to Bible studies. I had potluck lunches in my home. I was finding myself spending way more time with myself and finally slowing down and, spending time in the park and spending time taking pictures of bumblebees for like 20 minutes at a time. And realizing that in all that open brain space that I had, all this space to be bored and daydream and not be looking at my device and being focused on something, I realized that I was approaching the same burnout that I had in 2010 when I worked for a startup. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was also not being fulfilled by teaching English and was kind of over going to German classes every day. And my creative muscles were like wanting to just
It's like,
flex.
I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. Like the creative gym. Yeah.
Yeah. So I decided to relaunch the marketing business. But before I did that, I wanted to be held accountable to self-care. And I wanted to be held accountable to taking breaks. And that's all I wanted. And I wanted to start a conversation around how hard it is to put your phone down and how hard it is to be with your thoughts. And it was... I just wanted 4 or 5 people to join me. But I had so much fun putting together this flyer before I had even created this 10-day challenge. It was going to be 10 breaks. Well, it was 10 breaks for 10 minutes a day. And they were different things that I had been rediscovering or discovering in my life that I just wanted other people to try with me and keep me going with. And so but I spent so much time thinking of a name, and I finally landed on the break changer because it just means when you take a break, it can change everything. Whether you're taking a break literally and stopping, or whether you're taking a break from the way you do things, just thinking differently. So it ended up being so fun. I think there were over 300 people who joined me. I sent a survey out at the end. The impact was nuts. People, and the whole thing was 10 minutes a day. It was my mind trick that if I would have sent this out and been like, pay me $10 and let's take 30-minute breaks for 10 days, I'd be like, no, I don't have time for this. No. But they're like, this is free and it's for 10 minutes. And she's being pretty gentle with me. She's telling me I don't even have to do the 10 days. Okay, yeah, I can do this. Then some people's breaks were even going longer than 10 minutes because that's what happens when you start something, you keep going. It's like when you clean the kitchen sink, then you end up cleaning the counter, then you start vacuuming, So then that turned into this gigantic arm of my business. It's like 80% break changer, 20% Brit Stueven PR. But that's totally fine. And sometimes it shifted. Sometimes I've been doing more marketing work than break changer work, and they're all the same. They're all under that same umbrella, but it's still different, right? So then I did a number of pilot programs, just a lot of experiments and workshops, and I was having a great time with it. Then we moved back. And I am just completely pulled out again, right? From everything I had established there and all the things I learned about myself overseas. All of a sudden, I'm plucked and I'm brought back home. And home doesn't feel like home. And Brit doesn't know who Brit is anymore. And she thinks that she's giving herself enough time and space to get adjusted to life in Denver. She thinks she needs maybe 2 months. She really needed 2 years. Seriously, I think that's the amount of time I've needed. I think I'm finally now coming back to myself.
In Germany.
Yeah.
You had 2 years in Germany.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
2 years here to nest ground.
Yeah. And so I expected, because what you're taught in life is that you're just supposed to keep going straight up, and you're not supposed to go backwards, and you're not supposed to have moments where you stop. And so I just thought I had to keep going and trudging forward and doing what I knew best, even though I was winging it this whole time, right?
Yes.
And then I just hit this point, just that, this past spring, when we were going through everything with trying to start a family and just, having all these feelings of self-doubt come up. Everything just unraveled. Every feeling of feeling inept and not good enough and not ready and not professional enough and not credible enough just like came unraveling, and I couldn't do anything anymore, and I had to press pause on my business again, and I started going to therapy, and it was so funny because my therapist was like, okay, because I wanted to do some spontaneous things. She's
Why?
like, well, I don't know. There were a few different job possibilities and different things that were coming at me. And I was like, I wanted to feel needed. My self-confidence was so low, right? That I still, even though I was taking care of myself, there was still a big void because I wasn't doing anything. I was like, I pressed pause on my business, pressed pause on this fertility journey, suddenly had like, what am I going to do with myself, right? So I had to actually sit in that uncomfortable space of just being me and not having an identity again.
Who am I if I'm not doing anything?
Yeah, which is exactly who I was at the beginning of the journey in Germany. Like,
Yes.
no identity over there. And so yeah, my therapist was like, I need you to have 2 stable weeks before you do anything, okay? Like, you just need to be comfortable with you. And so, but then one day I was driving back to Applewood Golf Course, where I play every Monday night and ladies' night, and I'd forgotten my credit card. It wasn't like a crazy night. I just forgot to grab it from the cart person. And on the way over there, I was like, oh my gosh, every time I come here, I'm so happy. Every time I leave, I'm so happy. The only thing that was motivating me was golf, was just being outside and just doing that, just following that. That's
Green
the only
grass,
thing I
open
could
sky.
do. Yeah. And that day I asked them, I was like, are you hiring? And I didn't have to check in with anyone. I just knew that this is what I needed to do. And it had been in the back of my mind even a month prior. It's like, even my mom asked me, she's like, maybe you should see if they need help here, because I had been wanting to get out of the house and get out of my own head, and so much of my business had become digital and behind walls, and I wasn't sharing a lot of myself in a way that I needed to with people.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that. I was really just closing in, and it was starting to really, I don't know, it was sending me to a pretty dark place. And so I finally just did what I needed to do, not what other people needed me to do. And it felt great. And then, I don't know, I guess just in these last few months, I've just been much more gentle with myself and just been doing the work, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason we can't slow down. That's my theory, is that there's something that we're avoiding. We're avoiding our real selves. There's something deep within us that we haven't dealt with, or there's something we don't want to accept.
Yeah.
And that's why we stay busy, and that's why we stay scrolling, and we don't just stop and breathe and connect with each other. So,
Wow.
yeah, wow, that was a lot.
Most important question. Do you have your own golf cart?
Golf cart?
Yeah. Do you get your assigned to you working there? Do you get your own golf cart that you can decorate?
No.
Well,
But
if I ran a
would be
golf
so
course, I would
fun.
give everybody their own, and have in parades how they have floats and you get to decorate the floats to however you want. I would allow all my employees to have their own designated, and
Oh my gosh.
sort of
That'd
pimp
be
it
so
out to
fun.
how.
Oh man. That'd be so fun. I think they're leased, so I think that would be a little bit of a thing.
Right.
But maybe when that's over, I'll bring this up. I think that'd be fun.
Accessorize.
Yeah. That'd be so fun.
That is a very beautiful and powerful story. What I hear from you, and what I think everybody can resonate with, is the absolute power of creating room. The what happens when we have room to be bored,
Right.
room to feel, room to be. And, you know, it takes some momentum because the conditioning is pretty strong. The conditioning, whether it's societal or from our family of origin, the tapes that we play in our own head is, it takes a while to reset them. And so we go deep in. We go into the underworld with therapy or with healings and with, you know, all these things that we do in order to reset those tapes. But I love how one of the greatest successes of one of your greatest creative endeavors has come from your own embodiment or your own ability to say, what feels more energetically amazing than closing up your laptop or turning off your phone?
Right.
Like, there is such a feeling of completeness and empowerment when it's like laptop closed and life.
Yeah.
And look at that bee. Oh my God. And people that have cloud clubs that are in the cloud clubs. Cloud
clubs?
watchers.
Really?
Yes, they meet.
This is a thing?
They do. They're like people that chase tornadoes, you know. They go and they have like, you're like, oh, you know, around towns, they're like, guys, Mount Falcon Park, you know, sunset. And then like people will like drive up just to catch glimpses of clouds. People that allow themselves, that believe that there is more to life than managing and scheduling. And I had an experience yesterday. My family, my kids, my husband, they're insane soccer fanatics. And by default, because I'm in this family, I play along with them. Though I don't enjoy driving as much as I drive, whatever. But I've learned to find what I do is, because actually, for those of you in Denver, I live in Littleton, soccer's in Aurora. Like, I don't know, 8 times a week. We're driving. But if anybody's ever been to Aurora, you might complain about Aurora, but the open sky in Aurora is phenomenal. And so last night I had this experience where my body's tired. I pushed it too much with this thing that I just went through, but I went to the soccer game and it's a practice, and I sat there, and I love doing this where, you know, where you step into time beyond time. You step into that space beyond space. And I was sitting there on this ledge, and I just watched all of the families around me. And I was looking for all of those people, kind of like in the Matrix, you know, when there's the glitch, like they see the black cat. If you've seen this movie, when you see the black cat in the movie, it means that there's a glitch in the Matrix, or it sets the codes off, or there's things are not, somebody is there to sort of set it to a different rhythm, a different tone. And so I was looking around for the black cats. I was looking around for who are the people here who are sort of outside of the Matrix, outside of this management, because I'll tell you, I don't know any other subset of culture that manages more than soccer moms and soccer dads. Every conversation that I was tuning into was like, you know, so-and-so has to be here at such and such time, and are you taking them Saturday, and have you found out the schedule for Sunday, and I need to get home because we have ballet, and that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I saw my husband from afar, who's in the other side of the field, and I just sort of was like lassoing him with my gaze, like, and I,
which you could, you do, you're doing, you can do that.
I'm like, and I wanted to bring him close and be like, hey, isn't life great? And just have a different conversation than all of this, which we had gotten caught up in, which is, who's taking the kids Thursday? Are we carpooling here? Did you guys get your homework done? Do we have dinner for this time? And then so-and-so's coming over. And it's this absolute cycle of, it can become this autopilot of managing life. And what sets, I call them the great ones. those of us who have just enough mischief, those of us who are just frisky enough, those of us who are the black cats of the Matrix,
Right.
who come in and say, things are not what they seem, or let's shake it up and let's remember why we are all here, guys. It's that kind of thing that it takes magic, it takes intention. And so I think there is if the world needs anything, and I'm not big on that statement, because I think that can cause a lot of freak out for people like you and me who want to fill in the gaps and make things right and make things beautiful. Whenever anybody starts saying the world needs like the air grab, I'm like, does it? I don't know. I mean, yeah, but I am going to allow that to sort of take care of itself. And I know if I am allowing myself enough room to be bored and enough room to feel good, enough room to reflect, then my world kind of starts working out in the way that there's a new way to get things done, is what I mean to say. And I don't think that it's through overmanaging, and I don't think that it's through striving and pushing and...
Right.
So I absolutely loved your email when you had sent that, and I love your journey and where you're all going with this. And I did notice a little thing that was dropped about writing a book.
Oh, how much time do you have to talk about that one?
Do you have a name for it yet?
Now, just like my bio, it's always evolving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. That's the pressure of a book. It's like,
That's the
what?
thing.
How?
Yeah.
How do I even? I have this one friend who I saw this weekend. She's in town from Portland. Her name's Portland. Her name's Whitney. Hi, Whitney. She's like, yeah. She's like on her 5th book. She's like, I got a name for this, and the next book. There's just some people that can just spit out names and books,
Right.
and they just are real, But then there's that pressure of like your first book.
I know.
How do you even go there?
It's so funny. It's something I've always wanted to do. And that topic has evolved. And there are books that I'm so glad I didn't write that I wanted to when I was like in my 20s. And I'm like so happy that did not come out. But it's something, that it actually happened in the middle of leading this program called Break the Ground, which is helping you move forward on the thing that's haunting you.
Ooh.
And I always go through everything I lead people on because I need it just as much.
Yes.
But I never realized how much I need it.
Yes.
Until I'm midway through, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really, really needed this. But so midway through, I was like, oh, the thing that's been haunting me that I haven't moved forward on is writing a book. And so I took my own advice and I started moving forward on it. And I had all this great rhythm and I was just cranking out my mini chapters. Because right now, and at the beginning, and it's come back to this, it's a compilation of different ways to take breaks, basically. And it was 100, and then it was 50, and then it was 52, and then maybe it'll be 35. I don't know, but
Maybe it won't work all within the calendar so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had all this momentum and sat down with this woman, and she told me, no one will take you seriously if you self-publish. And let me introduce you to my publisher.
Let me guess. Oh, I was just going to say, was she a publisher?
No. Oh, right. Yeah. And I deeply respect this woman, and I think everyone's journey is so different. Yeah. And I listened. I made the mistake of listening to someone else instead of trusting my own gut feeling from the beginning of why I wanted to write a book.
Which was
to prove to myself that I can do something like this. That I can just get a bunch of words onto paper and get it bound up and get it done, right? But to have something tangible for my community to tap into that doesn't involve a device. So much of what I send out to people in challenges and programs is about closing the laptop, putting the phone down. But all of it is digital. And that's fine. There has to be a happy medium. That you can't just completely shut yourself off. But I want something that they can carry with them when they're on the go and pull out and read. And I just want to, I don't know, I just want to create this. And it has just been such an interesting journey. But so then finally got a contract with her publisher, but then it ended up not aligning with me. It's just a lot there that just didn't
then you
work.
go into requirements, and there's
Yeah.
contracts, and there's things
Yeah.
that you sort of have to, do that might not be what you want to do.
Right. And so I backed away and I took a break from writing a book on taking breaks, which is so funny. And that's totally going in the intro.
It was so divine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And finally picked back up on it earlier this year, then hit this whole point of self-doubt and I suddenly didn't like, oh, do you want us to?
Yeah.
Okay. I suddenly didn't like any of the content. I was just sick of it, bored with it. I wanted something different. Then I realized that I wasn't being vulnerable enough with it. It wasn't real enough. I was trying to fit it into a different mold. It wasn't mine. The chapters that I loved the most were the ones that came from a story of something in my childhood or something that I just want to run with. And so I finally let go of the chapters that, make a certain section equally long as the other. And now I'm back into going easy with myself. And the biggest turning point that I've had recently was while listening to, do you listen to the Magic Lessons podcast with Liz Gilbert?
No, but I'm very familiar with it.
Oh, so she's interviewing this author. I forget his name, and he's brilliant. But he said that, he's like, I can't remember who said this, but someone said that a novel is basically a long piece of prose with something wrong with it. And that has just stuck with me because I think my problem is that I keep wanting it to be like this perfect thing, and it keeps changing because this will be better, that will be better,
Sure.
This will connect with people more. But I have to do it for myself, and I have to just accept that no matter what I put out into this world, there will be something wrong with it, whether there's an error, which there will be, and whether or not it connects with people. Some people may think it's totally crazy. Some people may love it. Some may not even understand it. So there will be something wrong with it. But that's actually really freeing. And it's been this whole new thing that I've been thinking about and writing about and drumming up a possible newsletter about because
Because there's trusting that whatever comes out is pure and beautiful.
Right.
So long as it's yours.
Right. And if you try to make it perfect, you never will. He compared perfection as chasing the horizon. You'll never get there. Mm-hmm. So just at some point, just let go and be good with it and know that what you created was enough and that it's done.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of us who are creating things who are chasing.
Mm-hmm.
We're really good chasers, and we're also very tired.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's more power in standing.
Right.
I think there's a lot more power in being the horizon ourselves.
Right.
Not chasing it, but saying, I am the sun.
Mm-hmm.
I am the hot pink and the purple and color of a sunrise set. I am the sun.
Yeah.
And if I make this as beautiful and pure as possible, as I possibly can, if I radiate what's here, people are going to come and they're going to want to see it.
Right.
They're going to want to stop
Mm-hmm.
and take a look at these colors
Mm-hmm.
and be enchanted and inspired to shine theirs. There's a lot more power in that. Let's breathe on that for a second. Everybody gets to be a horizon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. There's things where there's times where I feel like I'm the only person that thinks a certain thing and I hold it in.
Yeah.
And then when I do write it and I post it on Facebook or I send it in a newsletter, it's amazing what people will respond with. Be like, you just wrote every emotion I've been trying to put into words.
Yes, thank you, dear scribe.
Yeah, and here I am on the other side being like, should I send it? Should I send it? Will this piss someone off? Will this confuse someone? Will someone unsubscribe? The last newsletter, 10 people unsubscribed, but 19 people replied with the most beautiful words, and it was and it's funny too because I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and I was looking at all these books that were published in 2018, and they are so in line with what I want to write about. There's so many books about all these different ways to slow down, and they're short chapters, and And I'm like, great. People have already done it. It's already been done. There's no room for me.
Yeah.
But then this other voice is like, no.
Ooh, tell me that
It's
voice.
the snowflake voice, right? That there's no other snowflake like any other snowflake in the world. And then there's the whole, I think Marie Forleo pointed out once, what if Bruno Mars one day was like, well, everyone else is singing and dancing. I shouldn't do it. Yeah. Like, if you go and write on the exact same topic that someone else does, it's going to be completely unique to you if you let it be unique to yourself. Yes. And I think that's where a lot of us beat ourselves up, is we're trying to fit into a different, into a mold and try to fit ourselves into what will sell. But if we just do what calls to us, like, I love how Rachel Hollis just posted about her keynotes and how she doesn't have anything planned. She wings it. She dances. I don't even think she has slides. And she's the most sought after public speaker right now, apparently. Like, what? Like, amen. She's doing it the way she wants to do it.
Yeah.
She stopped following everyone else's rules and listened to what works for her.
Yeah.
And it's resonating with people because it's the real her. So that stuff, that keeps me going, and I need to keep reminding myself.
Why do you think we mistrust our shine?
That is such a good question. I think because I think we want to belong, and we want to feel safe, and we want to be seen and included. And if we're different, we have this like middle school mentality that we're going to be made fun of. When in reality, if you show your real self, that will actually help you belong and be seen and be understood more than you ever think it would.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
And if it weirds people out, it will bring other people so much closer, right? It's the side effect that you're willing to go through. That's like something you're willing to suffer through.
Yeah, to let go of those that can't see you or wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
That's the whole. Isn't that the whole point?
Right.
To find those that are in the same, singing the same song, so to speak, or at least attracted to the same. Attracting those people that are going to light you up, make your light bigger, and not do this.
Right.
Man, have I been getting lessons on that. There's that word again, but you understand. I have been seeing with new eyes how much I sort of hang with people that don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Like what they say, I'm like, or what they teach, I'm like, I don't think I agree with that. And it's perfectly okay. I can give myself permission to not agree, but then why am I still hanging around?
Yeah.
Or why am I still giving attention to these spaces when there's all these other people over here who I call the party people?
Yeah.
They are the people that believe that this in the same, align with the same things that I align with. And man, is that way more fun and powerful to say, yes, there's going to be those that have a way and that they might not agree with my way, but I've always been a little weird and okay with weird.
Right.
I really like being the one that, I say the black cat, the one that kind of comes in and resets people's codes. There's this aspect in me as a creative, as a person from my own planet Tiffany. If I had planet Tiffany, I would, there would still be contrast, I think, because I like the contrast.
Yeah.
I like the creative tension, but there's part of me that just wants to say, not shake people alive, but like blast, like Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, stop, line up, and and like transfer that, and then have everybody go, oh, yes, and then they all are doing that, and we're all amplifying the light together, because this world, this life, this calling, everything that we think of, every idea that comes through is not ours. We wire it to be unique to our own, essence, and our own, the action of what we bring it out into is unique. But every idea that ever comes through is part of this beautiful symphony. It's part of this other collective. There's people all around, like you saw in Barnes & Noble, who are writing these because we're meant to all wake up right now. We're meant to light the world in a higher, accelerated fashion right now. So of course there's going to be others who have the same gospel, who have the same platform. But trusting in that, I'm going to say a statement right now, and I want you all who are listening to say it with me. I will never again doubt my light.
Oh.
I will not mistrust my shine. I will feel it. I will enjoy it.
Yeah.
When you go, ooh, am I really here for that? Is it really okay for me to come and be who I think that I am? When you start to feel that light and you align with it and you start to enjoy it and it starts going through your body, don't doubt it. Don't put it back and say,
Right.
oh, but this person says this, or it makes this person feel weird. I notice if I show up in this space and I'm big and bright, it makes others feel weird, and they don't like me because they think I'm too much.
Right.
I'm just going to shine because, do this with me, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I want your best gospel voices. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This little light of mine. I'm getting into the microphone. I'm gonna let it shine. My dog's excited. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yeah. And cut. No.
Beautiful.
I seriously, yes, and yes. So, whether it's a book that just rocks people's socks off, or whether it's you just having oodles of more time to be bored and chase the bumblebees and smell those delicious, huge flowers, or whether it's, starting something new, building something big, being big. That's,
Right.
Doing whatever you're inspired to do. Don't mistrust that shine, but follow it. And know that even if you don't take action, somebody else will. And that's okay.
Totally.
Just as long as you're shining it, it might just be your family. It might just be your husband. It might just be your dog that gets to feel your shine.
Right.
But it still matters. It's still being brought out there. So I am so tremendously grateful for this conversation, and I'd love for us to land the magic carpet with a really beautiful question of reflection that people could say, let me think about that one. And maybe it's a question that you like to ask your community, your hive, your community of people. Something about their light, something about their purpose or their passion that could take them to a greater awareness. Even a prompt. I was just thinking that you're good with prompts.
So, okay, first thing I thought of. So I've actually been getting into, so here's another thing. I've been really hesitant to do over the phone coaching. I've done a lot of writing coaching, a lot of that. Some videos here and there, but no over the phone coaching. And I finally found a safe place to do this with a dear friend of mine who's been wanting to start an Etsy shop. And and I sent her a list of all these questions that got her thinking. And it was so funny because when I asked her about her 3 biggest business or professional accomplishments, she could only list 2. Out of 34 years of life, she could only list 2 because they were boxed in, right? They were based on what would be on a bio. And so when I asked her, and she's this amazing teacher, I was like, so, okay, what about a student that you've impacted? Has someone sent you a letter, a thank you note, something that has just completely knocked you off your feet? It's like, oh, yeah. Then she told me this amazing story about this little girl that she taught when she was in kindergarten, and now she's in 6th grade, and she remembers
Oh, she was a
this
kindergarten
teacher.
teacher.
Yeah.
God bless the kindergarten
Yeah.
teachers.
Yeah, this girl still remembers to this day what she did in this class. And
Wow.
so I guess my question would be, and I don't even know if this has really been on topic, but it's just what's coming up for me right now is to list, 3 big accomplishments that you've done, that you've had in your personal or professional life. They can totally overlap. That would not be on a bio, the typical bio, but that would be, that
There's
means
no
so
letters,
much
there's
to
no
you.
acronyms, there's no certs after
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah.
It's heart.
Yeah, like what have you done that has impacted someone else's life or just changed something or made you come alive, right? What made your light come out? Where have you really felt that shine in your life? And where does it maybe not have a space right now, but you feel it and you want to give it light? Put it on those 3 things and celebrate it. Even if it seems small in the real world.
Yes.
If it feels big to you, put it down.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
cares if it feels small? Who
Yeah.
cares if it's make it big?
Right.
We don't make things big enough.
Yeah.
We don't make those accomplishments or those celebrations big enough. Like if we really, first of all, this is my perspective. I think when we go to the other side of this life, we are going, the first thing I'm going to do is, why didn't I celebrate more?
I know.
Why didn't I make drinking coffee a bigger deal?
I know.
Or driving my kids to soccer a bigger deal? Or listening to music in traffic? Or, walking my dogs, and make it big deal. Those
Yes.
things that don't matter on paper.
Yeah.
Make them a big deal. So what are those things that you just need to make a bigger deal?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, what's one of yours? And I'll say one of mine.
Oh, like a small, like an everyday thing?
Yeah,
That's
or
a
like
big
something
deal?
that you're like a huge accomplishment that you're like, I want to celebrate this because I want to see you're wanting to manifest this more and more in your life.
Oh gosh, see, now I'm overthinking.
I know, right? I know. Don't overthink it, guys. See, I'm practicing
See,
with
this
Brit.
is going to be a hard assignment.
I'm practicing with
Embrace
Brit.
it.
Something that was a big accomplishment that I okay. Yeah, I'm going to really the thing I just finished. This huge event
Right.
that I was honored, was privileged to be a part of with this beautiful community and this big thing. I'm physically tired, so I want to be like, okay, that's done, and I can sort of get back to my life. But to really see all that went into that and to be proud of the work that I put into it,
yeah.
and to just feel really proud of who I was in the midst of the hard work of it. So for me, that's whether it was that, or I think back 1 year ago when I did the Spartan race, when I was like, why was I doing Spartan? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even like doing sit-ups in my living room, like, and I did the
Yeah.
Spartan. So that I'm like I'm celebrating the physical strength inside of me, the mental and the spiritual and the strength inside
Love
of me.
it. Yeah.
That's mine.
Love it. Okay, so what is coming to me is lately I've been a much bigger advocate for myself and my health than I've been in a long time. Like a doctor will tell me something, or a dermatologist will, or even someone in my family will tell me something. And it doesn't quite resonate with me, or it doesn't feel right, or even my therapist will be like, this sounds different. And or I think you need to come this often. And I'm like, nope. I remember going home after my last session, and I was like, I wrote her an email. I said, actually, I know you're saying this, but I actually do know what's best for me, and this is how often I want to come now. And I felt so good.
Yes.
Because I drew a boundary. I think I'm celebrating boundaries.
Yes.
Big time boundaries.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm joining you. I'm going to make that number 2 for me.
Okay. Okay.
Because everybody with superpowers, like you have, like I have, boundaries
Oh.
are the name of
Yeah.
the game. Those are the rules of the
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
So also mirroring boundaries, strength. What is it for you guys? We would love to know. Share below in the comments if you're watching along on YouTube, or you can follow along on magiccarpetlife.com. Guys, this conversation was so valuable, and I hope that you are inspired. Share what inspired you, and also keep coming back. I'm making these. I'm keeping them coming. We're flying on the carpet. Subscribe on iTunes or on YouTube, and get more of what's coming at you, like here at the table, at the couch. You don't see the table, but we have this wood table. And let's cheers to life.
Cheers.
Ding!
Ding.
And I'm out of water, but
Beautiful.
see you next week on Magic Carpet Life.